Hello and welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me. You are tuning in to Flexible Dieting Macros 101. I am Lindsay Orton, and today we are going to be talking about how you can maximize your results and make sure to see the results that you are trying to see for yourself. So far we've talked all about macros, your calories, how to track, how to change up your macros if you plateau. So today I'm going to share some bonus points, some bonus ideas on how to really go ahead and maximize your results and get those results. So we are just going to jump right into it today. Starting with, okay, obviously you're tracking your food. Make sure that, I haven't mentioned it yet, I realize, make sure when you are tracking that you are using a food scale, okay? So eyeballing portions, probably, maybe it might work at the beginning if you're completely new to this and you still are consuming less calories than you had been before. However, once you've been doing this for a minute, you're really gonna have to make sure that you are getting accurate measurements of your food. And so using a food scale is going to be a really helpful tool. And I don't have a food label in here, but on your labels, you will always see, and I'm not on Zoom today, so I don't have my screen share, but you will see at the top of your food label, you will see the serving size at the very beginning at the top. And in parentheses, it tells you what that serving size is in grams. So I actually always measure my food in grams unless it's protein, like a meat source. And then with proteins, I actually do measure or weigh those in ounces. But everything else, to get accuracy, I measure and weigh in grams. And again, on your food labels, you will always see at the top is your serving size and what that serving size is in grams. And that is what you want to be doing, is weighing your foods to make sure that you're getting accurate serving sizes, okay? So that's the first thing. The next thing is water. I think I've already mentioned it, but water is so important. We should make sure to get a minimum, and this is a minimum, of half your weight in ounces per day. Anything more is going to be great. I focus on 1 gallon per day or more as a rule of thumb. So if you're someone who is active and you get regular exercise in, I actually recommend 1 gallon of water a day, and you should definitely see amazing results just by consuming more water. So if you're not drinking enough water, your body can actually hold water. And it doesn't sound like that would be, the case, but that is actually what happens when we don't drink enough water. Our body holds water. And one of the first places you're going to see it is in your face. You'll hold it at your neck. But drinking enough water helps flush excess retention out. And oftentimes you'll see a great drop on the scale. So drink your water. I got my notes here, so I keep looking down. But next thing is focusing on your micronutrients. So micronutrients are going to be what your macros, kind of like the breakdown of your macros, what makes up that protein, carbs, and fats, right? So micronutrients to pay attention to: fiber. So most adults should be consuming anywhere between 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. And that means your carbohydrate sources should be coming from whole food sources in order to hit that fiber goal. So make sure that you are getting enough fiber in your diet. Fiber is going to come from fruits, vegetables, whole grains. You can get it from, potatoes even. Potatoes are not bad for you, okay? It's like what you pile on those potatoes that can make it quote unquote bad. So yes, make sure that it's coming from, that you're getting enough fiber in, and that doesn't mean supplementing with a fiber supplement. You should be getting food sources, or your fiber should be coming from whole food sources, okay? Another thing to focus on is sodium. Too much sodium can cause water retention and other health issues. Too little sodium can wreak havoc as well. So we want to make sure that you're getting sodium in your diet, but not too much. So a good rule of thumb is 15 to 1800 milligrams. Cap it out at 2000. It just depends on what your calorie level is. But when you are truly going over 2000 calories, or excuse me, sorry, when you're going over 2000 milligrams of sodium, especially if you're in a deficit, and for women especially, you are probably going to see you're going to have a hard time dropping weight on the scale. And it's going to be because water weight is part of, when it happens when you have too much sodium in your diet. You retain water with too much sodium. There we go. So when we have too much sodium, we're going to hold water. That's going to show us scale weight increases, or it just may be that you just won't see that drop on the scale. So make sure that your sodium isn't too high, but really make sure not to be under 1500 milligrams of sodium either, because then you can have a whole nother slew of health issues, and we don't want to go there either. So make sure you're not getting too little, but definitely I like to stick to like 15 to 1800 milligrams of sodium, trying not to go over 2000 though. Potassium kind of works hand in hand with sodium. Potassium and sodium are both electrolytes, and we need a balance of those to perform optimally. When you have too much sodium, we really want to make sure that we have enough potassium, because basically potassium balances out sodium. So if you consume high potassium type foods, foods that are rich in potassium, like white fish, spinach, avocados, there's a lot of foods that have a high amount. Asparagus is good too. Those foods will actually help as they'll serve as a natural diuretic for your body. So if you are holding water, potassium is going to help you kind of flush excess retention. So we want to make sure we have enough sodium, but not too much, and that we are getting adequate amounts of potassium. The last micronutrient I'm going to talk about is sugar. We should be consuming as little sugar as possible. Basically, 25% of your carbohydrates, no more than 25% of your carbohydrates should be coming from sugar. So if you are eating more than that, you could definitely find it difficult and challenging to drop weight on the scale when you have too much sugar in the diet. So about 25% of your calories, and no more, should be coming from sugar, okay? And that includes fruit. So that means you can still have fruit, but again, making sure that you're keeping that sugar in check. Okay, so we'll jump into supplements that can help. I'm not a huge pusher of weight loss supplements and stuff like that, but I do encourage people to make sure that they are taking essential nutrients via supplementation. So basically, supplements are supplementing our diet, and we should be getting most of our nutrition or nutrients from our food. However, when you're dieting, you're eating less, so we may be kind of lacking nutrients in general. So some key vitamin supplements to make sure that you are taking for optimal results is vitamin D3. And so vitamin D3 is almost more of a hormone than it is a vitamin. It helps with hormonal regulation, and it helps us produce hormones. It is a precursor to testosterone, and us as women, yes, we still need testosterone. Testosterone is the feel-good hormone. It gives energy, strength, stamina, and a lot of us are lacking in it. I'm someone who has to work really hard to get my testosterone to an actual happy place. And D3 can help get you there. It's also going to help with mood. So if you're someone who does have, anxiety or different mood disorders, depression, if you're not taking vitamin D3, you might consider taking that, and it could definitely help you feel a little bit better. So definitely make sure you're getting vitamin D3, anywhere between 2 to 5,000 they go in IUs. So anywhere between 2 to 5,000 IUs during the summertime. And here in Oregon, I usually recommend 10,000 IUs, but you can get vitamin D from the sun as well. Obviously, we have to be careful. We don't want to get too much sun, right? So supplementing can be a good way to get that in as well. Vitamin C is also an essential vitamin. We don't make it on our own, so therefore, if we're not consuming it, we need to, get it. We need to get it somehow. So vitamin C, usually anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams. Some people might want to start on the low end, maybe even 500 milligrams, and then work your way up. Some people who have a sensitivity to vitamin C might get like an upset stomach, maybe some diarrhea. So if you get that kind of a sensation, just back off on your dosage. It just means it's too much for your body. But what you don't, if you take in too much vitamin C, what your body doesn't need, it's just going to expel anyway. I've never had an issue with vitamin C, and I don't know really anyone who does, but just as a disclaimer, it can be something that can cause some, if you have too much, it can cause some discomfort in your stomach, but I think it takes quite a bit to get to that point. But vitamin C is obviously great for our immune system, especially with viruses and all that kind of stuff. So vitamin C is essential. It also helps our body cope with stress. A lot of people don't realize that. So if you are someone who lives a stressful life, I think we all have stress in our lives, right? But vitamin C can help our body cope with stress. So vitamin C is pretty critical. The next one I have listed is a probiotic. Making sure to take a good probiotic, and don't waste your money on a probiotic that has too little of a strain, because it's not going to do anything. So I see so many supplements that have like 1 billion count in a capsule. 1 billion is not really going to do a whole lot for that gut. You need more strains, and so 25 billion or more is what you should be looking for. But probiotics are going to help us with gut health and introduce healthy bacteria into the gut. And our immune system starts with the gut. The gut is basically our second brain. And if that brain's not working, the rest of us isn't going to be working properly either. So if you're someone who has, again, depression or some sort of mood disorders, a lot of times it's an imbalance in your gut health. And so the gut and the brain are very, very connected, and we really want to put a lot of attention into our gut health. So probiotics will definitely help with that. And then if your gut is working well, your hormones are going to be working well, your bowels will be working well, and that all plays a part in seeing results. Next up is magnesium. So making sure to get enough magnesium in your diet is going to be essential. A lot of us are magnesium deficient. You can get magnesium through supplement or through your food or through supplementation. I like to actually take a supplement called ZMA. So ZMA is zinc, magnesium, and then it also has like a B vitamin that helps with the absorption. But we really need zinc as well for our immune system and to allow the uptake of that magnesium. I like to take that at night because magnesium has been known to help calm the body. So I take that at night before bed, but it also helps with recovery. If you get sore muscles, it can help with that. It also is going to help with, again, testosterone production. I've said that already out loud too, and some women are like, but we're females, like we don't need testosterone, but we actually do. We want our testosterone to be at a healthy level, and again, most of us that I see and talk to have a deficiency of sorts, so that's just going to give you a little bit of a boost there. And then the next one is A good B vitamin. I like to take a B complex, so it gives me all the Bs, but a B12, if you're just looking for one. But B vitamins are going to give us our energy and it's going to fuel our cells. So those are really important as well. And it'll help with hormonal production. And lastly, supplement wise, I wanted to mention one that's called DIM. If you are a female who knows that you have maybe high estrogen, you're more of an estrogenic person like myself. If you tend to carry more weight in your tricep or in your thighs, if you have bigger hips, knowing that we were born to bear children, so some of us are going to hold more weight in our hips. You might be interested in picking up the supplement called DIM. I can't pronounce what it stands for, but basically DIM is a natural supplement. It is made of cruciferous vegetables, so broccoli, kale, cauliflower, but basically it's a high potency cruciferous vegetable mix, basically. And what it's going to do is it's going to help cancel out the bad estrogens and kind of make way for the good estrogens to do their job, because we still need estrogen. But too much of the bad stuff is going to wreak havoc on our goals. And if our estrogen is too high, then we can definitely have a very challenging time in losing weight. So DIM is one that I like to throw in there for those who maybe have some challenges in those areas. Okay, so now moving on, stress. Stress is a big reason why a lot of people don't see results, because stress is just super toxic to the body, and your body doesn't really distinguish or know the difference between stress from, your job, your daily stress, or maybe with what we're going on in the world right now with pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But that is a stress. Dieting is a stress. The loss of a loved one is a stress. Not sleeping is a stress. Being a mom, a new mom, it doesn't matter how long you've been a mom, can be very stressful too. So the list goes on, and your body doesn't really know the difference between one stress from another. It just knows stress. And so finding ways to de-stress is going to be very critical to help you be able to see results. When our stress levels are high, it increases our cortisol hormone. Cortisol is our stress hormone, and it's also known as the belly fat hormone. So if you're someone who deals with chronic stress, you might notice your midsection in particular is, piling on the weight. You kind of have like that fat tire around your midsection. That is a key indication of cortisol. So we want to make sure to be, again, taking supplements to help with stress, like the vitamin C I mentioned. And I guess since I've mentioned supplements, you can also take adaptogenic herbs. Ashwatthanga is a good one. There's a lot of different good ones. Holy basil, licorice root. There's actually different stress blends that you can find at the supplement store, or cortisol support supplements, adrenal support supplements. All those are going to have those adaptogenic herbs, and basically adaptogens are going to help our body cope with stress. So it just kind of takes the ease off of our body and allows us to kind of just like chill a little bit in terms of stress and how the body responds to it. Finding different practices like maybe, yoga, meditation, taking 3 minutes, going into a quiet room and just taking a deep breath a few times just to get some of the calmness, to come back down. You don't have to sit there for 30 minutes, and unless you have that time. But even 3 minutes can, just taking some deep breaths for 3 minutes and easing the mind can really have a great effect on your body and helping with the stress, So stress management is huge. Sleep is another thing as well. So when you don't get enough sleep, it causes stress. But yes, not getting enough sleep will increase the stress hormones. It's when our body basically revamps itself and replenishes itself, and the body, our cells are remade every so many days, and the reconstruction of the inside of our body happens while we're sleeping, and recovery happens while we're sleeping. So if you're someone who's working out and you're not sleeping, your body's never going to be able to recover, and you're going to be in a constant state of stress. So it's really important to put sleep as a priority in your routine. So maybe that looks like putting down your phone, at 8 o'clock and being in bed by 10, giving yourself enough time away from the blue light, turning off the TV. There's just different things that you can do and really focus on getting that sleep in. Okay. So kind of switching gears, when it comes to workouts, prioritizing resistance training is going to be an important factor. The more muscle you have, the higher metabolism you're going to have. That means the more calories your body is going to burn just at rest. So prioritizing resistance training over cardio is going to really be beneficial for helping you see results. If you are someone who's doing both, make sure that you do your resistance training first and your cardio session after your workout. Unless you are doing two separate workouts, then it would be okay to do cardio at one time of the day and then have something to eat in between, and then at another time of the day go back for your resistance training or what have you. But if you're doing it all in one, you'll want to start with your resistance training first, so you have enough energy to, maximize your efforts there. And then you'll be in a prime state for burning fat as fuel for when you jump into your cardio, since that is the goal for cardio when we're, trying to lose fat and weight. So prioritizing resistance training. And then let's see, if you're going to invest in cardio though, make sure you do the type of cardio that's going to give you the most bang for your buck. I do actually enjoy cardio. I like leisure, feel good cardio for myself. But finding the type of cardio that works best for you, whether it's long duration, LISS, long duration type of cardio, or maybe you're someone who responds really well to high intensity interval training. But if you're going to be doing cardio on a machine, not all machines are created equal in terms of the results that you get. So think of it this way. The harder the machine, the more it's probably going to challenge your body, right? So treadmills are pretty easy. So if you're a beginner, you might want to start there and just focus on the incline to give you more of a challenge. But for those who have access to a stair mills are my go-to. They're like the never-ending stairs. Stair mills are going to give you the most bang for your buck, in my opinion. They're the cardio equipment, or the piece of cardio equipment that we generally will recommend to our bodybuilding clients for when they're doing cardio. You just see more results that way. If you've ever jumped on there, you know what I'm talking about. It's tough. It's challenging to keep, stepping. And that's the whole point. If you're going to invest in cardio, you might as well do, what's going to work and get the most bang for your buck if you're going to invest the time anyway. So doing the cardio that's the most challenging is going to be what's going to produce results. So getting on the stair mill, increasing your the speed as you're able to. I never go really below a level 8 anymore. 8 to 10 is kind of my feel good pace. You might have to work up to that, but stair mills are good. Sprints are great if your body can handle that, where you're going as fast as possible. If you're on a treadmill, it would be eventually maxing out that 12 mile per hour speed on the treadmill, going for 15 seconds and then jumping off and holding on as you do, but jump off and straddle the belt and let that go for 45 seconds, and then jump back on, sprint as fast as you can for 15 seconds, straddle it. All you got to do is 10 rounds of that and you're done. HIIT is high intensity interval training. Sprints would be considered a HIIT style type of training. When you are doing true and honest HIIT, you need to be putting in your full on max effort. I see a lot of people claiming workouts as HIIT type of routines, and they go for like 30 minutes. If you do true and honest HIIT, you cannot go more than 10 to 15 minutes. You should feel completely wiped by 10, 15 minutes. Otherwise, you're probably just doing intervals, which is fine too, but it's not the same as HIIT. True and honest HIIT, I don't see many people pushing themselves that hard on their own. So I never prescribe that to clients without knowing their potential, because most people will not force themselves to put in that high of an exertion without someone standing there telling them to do it. You should be putting in about 90% of your max effort into each interval. And each interval is only like 15 to 20 seconds, sometimes even 10, because you could not go any farther or faster than that amount of time. So if people are doing like 30 seconds to a minute of an interval, it's just going to be interval training. It's not full on effort. So I could go on and on. So anyway, maximize your cardio. If it's going to change, if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. There we go. And let's see, lastly, limit your alcohol. I know this is going to break a lot of people's bubbles and hearts right now. Alcohol is never a part of my weight loss diet. That's why I don't drink, because I would much rather eat my calories than consume them, for one. But alcohol limits or prohibits fat loss. So if you're someone who's really eager to drop weight and you're just not seeing results and you are having alcohol, drop your alcohol, see what happens. But really, we shouldn't be like on a normal, like healthy basis while trying to, slowly lose. You can still fit you can fit alcohol into your macros, if you know how to do it properly. And that's a whole nother different video that I'm not going to get into, but it's not just as easy as finding it in your MyFitnessPal and logging it. That's not how it works. But there is a way to fit alcohol into your macros. But most people don't realize that even like a glass of wine is equivalent to approximately 30 grams of carbs for 5 ounces. Most people don't realize that. And who just stops at one small, like 5 ounce glass, right? So limit your alcohol intake. If you can limit it completely, I promise you will see much better results than those who fit it into their macros. Because like I said, it's they're empty calories. There's 7 calories per 1 gram of alcohol, which is not too far off of the calorie amount of 1 gram of fat, which is 9 calories. So it's very calorically dense, and it doesn't serve us in any sort of body transformation goal. So sorry to save that one I saved that one for last, but sorry to burst your bubbles. If you're someone who consumes wine every single day, you might want to start with, tracking or backtracking or subtracting a few days and do like 3 days per week and see what results you get. You can still fit it in, but definitely for those who have a glass of wine at night every single night, you're definitely going to want to cut back drastically. Sorry to bear the news, but you can still fit it in, but definitely limit. All right, so there's a whole bunch of tips and tricks and ways to maximize your efforts and your results. So try those out. Let me know how that works out for you. Let me know which of those ideas you decided to choose. Maybe start with 3 of those. If there were 3 that you aren't currently doing, start with 3 and then you can always work your way up. But pick 3 and do them every single day for a minimum of 2 weeks, because usually in 2 weeks worth of time is enough time to see if something's working for you. And let me know what your results are. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you found value in this video, and we have one more video left. one more. Our next video will be all about what to do once you hit maintenance. You've reached your goal. Now what do you do? So that'll be next time. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys later.